Good morning, students. Welcome again to your social science class. Students, today we'll discuss about the establishment of company rule in India. The company here we're talking about is the British East India Company. Students, look at this slide. Here in picture 1, you can see that this is a British officer. Okay, who is this? This is a British officer. And he is taking permission from an Indian ruler for trade in our country. This British officer, company officer, is taking permission from the ruler. And after some time you can see that is shown in picture that this company officer, you can say a trading company which came for trade in our country, become the ruler of this country. Okay, let's see from where this company came to our country. This is Britain and this is India. Okay, this British East India Company came from Britain and it came to India through sea route, and this came to our country so that it could get spices, indigo, cotton, silk from the east at cheaper prices and could sell it at higher prices in European and American market so that they could make huge profits. So this East India Company was established in our country in 1600. It acquired a charter, you can say a written permission from the Queen Elizabeth I, which granted this company the sole right to trade in the East. Means other companies from Britain could not trade in East. When this East India Company came to our country, there were already some other European countries established here. These companies were Portuguese. Portuguese established their company in 1498 when Vasco da Gama explored the sea route to India, and next one is Dutch. Dutch established their company at Pulicat in 1595, and next one is French. French established their company in Pondicherry in 1664. Now the British East India Company got monopoly rights from the British government, but they had to face competition with another is the European trading companies. As a result of this competition, the prices of goods like spices, indigo, cotton, etc. rose in Indian market. Means Indians started selling their production at higher prices to these companies. What happened then? The profits of these companies started decreasing. Now, these companies became the rivals of each other and they started sinking each other's ship, as you can see in the picture. They blocked routes and they fortified their trade posts and started maintaining their armies. Students, fortified their trade post means they started building forts in those cities where they established their companies. Okay, students, now let's check the political condition of India during the time when this all was happening here. This is Aurangzeb. You know, Aurangzeb was the last great Mughal ruler. Aurangzeb, the last great Mughal ruler of India, established control over a very large part of India. That's why he was known as powerful Mughal ruler. But after his death in 1707, Mughal governors or big zamindars started establishing their own small kingdoms just because of the weak and inefficient successors of Aurangzeb. Students, this is all about the introductory part of the chapter. Now let's go through the chapter in detail. The chapter starts like this in your book. Vasco da Gama landed at Calicut in 1498, which marked the beginning of European era in our country. By the 16th century, the Portuguese established their company in Goa. The next century, India became a popular destination for European traders, adventurers, and missionaries. The age of imperialism in India began with the weakening and disintegration of Mughal Empire. The lack of strong central authority led to the emergence of many independent states. The Sikhs, the Marathas, the Jats, and the Rajputs started establishing their own kingdoms. There were other states like Bengal, Awadh, Hyderabad, and Mysore, as you have studied in previous class. This was the political situation of India, so the stage was set for Europeans to take advantage of this situation. Next is trading companies. Many European trading companies established their trade centers at coastal areas. Trading centers were called factories. Factories, the place where factors, you can say officials, worked. Some of the factories were fortified. Fortified means forts were built around these companies to safeguard them from rival trading companies. These companies bought spices, cotton textile, indigo, saltpeter at cheaper rate from India, and they sold them in Europe and America at higher prices so that they could make huge profit margins. Finally, the other trading companies withdrew their trading activities in India, and only two rival companies remained in India. Those companies were the English and the French companies. Next is the East India Company. The history of the East India Company in India is very amazing. The establishment of British Empire in India was really amazing. It was not a result of careful efforts but a series of episodes that led to political dominance of East India Company here. The East India Company set up trading posts in Surat and three presidency towns like Fort William in Bengal, Fort St. George in Madras, and Bombay Castle. These companies, this East India Company, established friendly relations with local rulers so that they could get more profit. And these Indian rulers also willingly joined hands with this British East India Company because they wanted military help from the English so that they can settle their personal rivalries with other local rulers. Now, the Britishers took advantage of this situation and they introduced the policy of divide and rule. They divided the Indian rulers. As a result, the Indian princes became mere puppets in the hands of the English. Means the Indian princes did whatever the way company wanted. Do you know the East India Company enjoyed a position of privilege? Okay, they got many benefits from the English government. the English government granted them special rights like trade monopolies that you have already seen. Only this company could trade in East and no other company could do so. And it also gave them some tax exemptions, means reduction in tax, or you can say removal of tax. This caused dissatisfaction among other competitors of British East India Company in their country. Now next very important question is that how could a trading company become an imperial power? The answer of this question is that East India Company became an imperial power while it was protecting its trading interest from other European traders. It began as a trading company, took over political control and became the ruler of entire India. The main of the company was only to gain monopoly of the entire trade in East. You can say in India. The company came into conflict with other foreign trading companies. So it started building its own military and administrative departments. It became so strong that it took over governance of Bengal, Madras, Bombay. Madras you can say Chennai and Bombay is Mumbai. Gradually, the trading company transformed into an auxiliary government and military power that ended only in 1858. After this, the Queen of England became the ruler of our country. So, students, today you learnt about how the European companies came here for trade and they fought with each other. Finally, this East India Company remained here, which converted into a political power in our country. Okay, and this all happened due to political instability in our country. In this way, the East India Company, which came for trade in India, became the ruler of our country. Students, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.